Hello guys. If your coffee is ready, game theory is starting.
Haha, I love it.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another deep dive with us.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes I look up at the night sky and I feel incredibly small. I mean, really just minuscule. And today, we're going deep on an idea that's going to make you feel even smaller.
Yeah.
And maybe a lot bigger all at the same time.
It is kind of a paradox, isn't it?
Right.
Infinity.
Yeah, we're going to tackle the infinity universe theory. And this is the idea that the universe doesn't just go on for a long time. It literally never ends.
No end in sight.
No end in sight. So where did this crazy idea even come from? I mean, people have been gazing at the stars for forever.
Yeah, I mean, even ancient philosophers, thousands of years ago, they were grappling with this idea of infinity. But in the 20th century, with Einstein and his general theory of relativity, things really started to click scientifically.
Right.
His theory suggests that the universe could be flat, which implies it's also infinite.
Okay, wait, flat universe. Doesn't space look all curvy?
Yeah.
Like black holes and stuff?
Right, well, it's not about curves that we can see, it's more about the overall geometry of the universe. So imagine like a flat sheet of paper, and it extends infinitely in all directions. That's kind of what we're talking about, but in 3 dimensions.
Okay, I think I'm kind of following you. But how do we know that this flat sheet isn't just like really, really big, but still finite? Like if you kept going, eventually you'd hit an edge, right?
That's where the evidence comes in. Edwin Hubble, back in the 1920s, he observed that galaxies are moving away from each other, and not randomly. The farther a galaxy is from us, the faster it's moving away. It's like dots on an expanding balloon.
Oh yeah, the balloon thing. I've heard that before. Can you explain that, folks who maybe haven't?
Sure. So imagine you draw some dots on a balloon and you inflate it. Each dot sees all the others moving away from it, and the ones farthest away seem to be going the fastest. So the balloon's surface represents our expanding universe, but unlike a balloon, the universe doesn't have that fixed edge for the dots to reach.
Wow. Okay, so Hubble's observations and Einstein's theories, they basically point toward a universe that just keeps going.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah, forever. And it's not just those two pieces of the puzzle either, right? I mean, we have more modern evidence too.
We do. We have more modern evidence. That supports the idea of an infinite universe. One of the biggest pieces of evidence comes from studying the cosmic microwave background radiation.
Okay, I'll be honest. Cosmic microwave background radiation, my brain kind of short circuits a little bit. Can you break that down for me in a way that doesn't require a PhD in astrophysics?
I hear you. Yeah, it's a complicated term. Think of it like this. The Big Bang was super hot and bright. As the universe expanded and cooled, that initial energy stretched out, became fainter and fainter over billions of years. And what we detect today as this cosmic microwave background is basically the very stretched out remnants of that initial energy blast from the Big Bang.
So we're literally seeing echoes of the Big Bang. That's wild. And how does that tell us the universe is infinite?
By studying the patterns and distribution of this cosmic microwave background, scientists have been able to confirm that the universe's geometry is indeed consistent with a flat, infinite expanse.
All right, so we've got Einstein, we've got Hubble, we've got this ancient cosmic radiation, and they're all basically saying the same thing. Universe, no limit.
The universe is boundless.
Right, and the implications of that are pretty staggering, both scientifically and philosophically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really interesting. Because if the universe is infinite, doesn't that open up a whole can of cosmic worms? Like,
Yeah.
what about parallel universes?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a very real possibility in an
Okay.
infinite universe. There's infinite potential for variations.
So you're saying there could be other universes where things are totally different, like maybe one where gravity works backwards, or pizza tastes like broccoli.
It might sound crazy, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. These parallel universes, if they exist, could have different physical laws, different constants of nature, maybe even different fundamental forces altogether.
So there's another me out there somewhere hosting a podcast about underwater basket weaving or something.
Who knows? That's the beauty of it. The possibilities are truly endless.
All right.
Yeah. It really leads us to some mind-blowing questions like, what does it mean for our understanding of existence if there are infinite versions of ourselves, living out all these different possibilities?
Yeah, it makes you think about what it means to be you, right?
Exactly. It challenges our ideas of uniqueness, free will, even the meaning of life itself. If everything that can happen does happen in some parallel universe, does that diminish the choices we make in our own reality? Or does it simply mean that the potential for experience is far vaster than we ever imagined?
Whoa, that's pretty deep. But let's get back to the science for a second. We've talked about how the infinity universe theory is supported by observations and theories about the universe expanding. But doesn't that raise other questions too? Like, if the universe is constantly expanding, wouldn't that mean everything is just getting farther and farther apart,
Well,
leading to a cold, empty future?
it's a common misconception, but it's not quite that simple. While it's true that the space between galaxies is increasing, the universe isn't expanding into some pre-existing void. Space itself is being created as the universe expands.
Wait, so new space is just popping into existence.
In a way, yeah. It's kind of hard to wrap our heads around, because we're used to thinking of space as something that's already there. But based on what we understand right now, space itself is dynamic, and it can expand. It's like the fabric of the universe is constantly stretching, and it's carrying those galaxies along with it.
So it's not like galaxies are flying away from each other through some fixed empty space. It's more like the space between them is just growing.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. And it means that even as the universe expands, new galaxies can form, new stars can be born, the cosmic dance of creation continues.
Okay, that's a little less depressing than I was picturing. But all this talk about infinity and parallel universes makes me wonder about the possibility of other life out there.
Yeah.
And statistically speaking, in an infinite universe, there's got to be other life, right?
It's certainly a compelling thought. Yeah, the sheer vastness of an infinite universe suggests that the conditions for life as we know it, or even in forms we can't yet imagine, must exist in countless other places.
So what would it be like to encounter another intelligent civilization? I mean, it could be anything, from a peaceful exchange of knowledge to an all-out intergalactic war, right?
The possibilities are as vast as the universe itself. It could be a moment of profound connection and shared discovery, a chance to learn from a completely different perspective on existence. Or it could be a clash of cultures, values, and resources, leading to who knows what kind of conflict and unimaginable consequences.
Wow, that's heavy stuff. I guess it all comes down to how we approach that first contact.
Absolutely, and that's where those philosophical implications of the infinity universe theory become even more crucial. It's not just about understanding the science of the cosmos, it's about understanding ourselves, our place in this vast band, and the responsibilities that come with being part of a potentially interconnected cosmic web.
You know, what gets me about all of this is the idea that we might not be alone. It's both terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. What are your thoughts?
I think it's one of the most profound questions humans have ever grappled with, this possibility of other life forms. It challenges how we see ourselves, our place in the universe, and the very nature of existence. It's a question that has inspired countless works of science fiction, philosophical debates, and scientific endeavors.
And it's not just science fiction anymore, right? I mean, with everything we're learning about the universe, the possibility of meeting other civilizations is becoming more and more real.
It is, and it begs the question, how would we as a species react if we made contact? Would we approach it with curiosity and open-mindedness, or with fear and aggression? Would we be able to bridge the gap between our cultures and languages, and maybe even entirely different ways of seeing reality? I think these are questions that we need to start thinking about now before we face the reality of such an encounter.
That's a really good point. It's not just about the what if, but the how. How do we prepare ourselves, not just technologically, but ethically and philosophically, for the possibility of meeting other intelligent beings?
Absolutely, and it starts with conversations like this, exploring the ideas, the possibilities, the potential challenges. It's about broadening our perspective, challenging our assumptions, and preparing ourselves for a future that could be far more complex and interconnected than we ever imagined.
So what about our listeners out there? How would you react to the news that we've made contact with another intelligent civilization? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and maybe even spark some healthy debate.
Yeah, it is fascinating to think about, to imagine all the different perspectives and experiences that might exist out there in the universe.
It is, and it's not just about other civilizations either. This whole idea of infinity, I don't know, it kind of changes how we think about our own potential.
Absolutely. If the universe has no boundaries, no limits, does that mean our capacity for creativity, discovery, growth is also limitless?
Right. Even if we were the only life forms out there, the universe being infinite means there's always something new to learn, to explore, to understand.
Yeah, it's a constant invitation to push beyond our limits.
Absolutely.
And, I think that's one of the most powerful takeaways from exploring this theory, the infinity universe theory. It's not just about the mind-blowing science, it's about how it makes us feel. That sense of awe, curiosity, that drive to keep asking questions and seeking answers.
You know, it's funny. We started this deep dive talking about how infinity makes us feel small. But now, the more we talk about it, it actually feels like it's expanding our sense of what's possible.
It's definitely a paradox. It humbles us, but it empowers us at the same time. We're tiny little beings on the tiny planet, but our minds can grasp concepts that are boundless.
Yeah, so let's bring it all back home for our listeners. What are some of the key things they should take away from this deep dive into the infinity universe theory?
Well, first, I hope they come away with a sense of wonder about the universe. Vast and mysterious and still unfolding. There's so much we don't know, and that's exciting.
It is exciting. The fact that we're even having this conversation shows just how far we've come in understanding our place in the cosmos. But there's always more to learn, more to discover.
Always more to discover. And second, I encourage everyone to really embrace those philosophical questions that infinity raises. What does it mean for how we understand existence? What are our responsibilities? We're not alone in the universe. I mean, these are big questions, but they're worth thinking about.
Absolutely. They're questions that each of us can think about on our own too. There's not just one right answer. It's about the journey of exploration.
Yeah, it is. It's about keeping our minds open to new possibilities, challenging what we think we know, and talking with others.
Yeah, great points. Well, before we wrap up this mind-expanding deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. If the universe is infinite, does that mean your own potential is infinite too? It's something to think about.
It really is. Maybe the universe being boundless means we all have boundless potential within us.
Well, on that note, we're going to leave you to contemplate all of that. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the infinity universe theory. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more explorations into the mysteries beyond our world. And as always, let us know your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you. Game over.